Good morning, everyone.
Good morning,
Pallak,
everyone.
so good to see you after so long.
Likewise, sir, and AB, sir. Feels like coming home.
Awesome. So, Pallak, the motive of this session is because, as you know, that we have been working on CaapidUp's TOEFL program from the past, I think, 4 to 5 months now, ever since the new changes that have been brought into, especially the adaptive learning style that the TOEFL and the ETS is bringing in. And we had talked about this in a video, I think, almost a month and a half ago. We just wanted to inform the students of these changes that we have been bringing in and how exactly you guys have been involved in improving the platform for the learning experience of the students. So how has right from the very beginning, when you became and you guys launched the CaapidUp platform to help out students for their TOEFL preparations, how exactly has this journey been so far?
I think it's been a journey of continuous change and like constant improvement. I know for a fact that when I used to be a part of CaapidUp, even then it was really important for us as a team to take student feedback into account and make changes. And we've done that ever since. I think we've been one of the pioneers in sort of adapting technology, creating like a tech-friendly platform for students where they can take the time to, go through tests, do mock tests, and get like real-time feedback. We've, right from like manually doing feedback to, including a component of tech into it to, doing our best to make sure that the feedback we're giving is, cross-referenced, cross-checked, is sort of in line with TOEFL guidelines and is keeping with the format of the exam. I know how much effort has gone into, creating that structure at the level of mentors, at the level of, for you, Dr. T, as well as for the tech team. And so I've seen the journey very closely. I've known the journey personally. And even if I've stepped outside of it because of school, I've always been abreast of the developments. So I do believe that what we have created is something that students can greatly benefit from. And the best part is there is ability to sort of get feedback, but at the same time not be micromanaged and learn at their own pace. And that is something that is incredibly valuable in a time where, as applicants, I know we're trying to juggle multiple things. It's not just TOEFL prep, it's also IMBDE prep. It's also gearing up for CAPID applications, writing the statement of purposes, LORs, coordinating everything. And so having that kind of a platform that sort of helps and is there for you when you have the time to access it makes a lot of difference.
Definitely. I think when we started off everything, I remember that we were having these one-on-one sessions with the students,
Yeah.
And at that point of time, giving real-time feedback to students on how exactly they're going to cater to the introduction part of a particular writing paragraph has to be different. And when you're involving your spoken language, that's completely a different ballgame. You cannot just, mix and match these two different styles. It is having these improvements getting incorporated that we are the only platform across the globe which is offering the adaptive learning style for candidates. And AB sir has been very closely involved in these changes.
Yeah, if I may add, Dr. T, before we continue with the computer adaptive testing, if Dr. Pallak would recollect, in fact, we were the pioneers who created our own assessment criteria that was mapped to the lines of the assessment structure of designed by ETS, and we had updated it almost consecutively for 2 to 3 years, all right? And we were the first who launched in this online grading system.
Yes.
That was really a path-breaking thing that we did with the assistance of technology and technical inputs by the tech team and other things. So that was really an important achievement or a feat that we had kind of achieved, along with the help of all the team members, including Dr. Razdan, those days.
So Pallak, I remember that back in 2021, when we were actually structuring the topics for spoken English, and we were devising this recordings being done, how exactly they are going to be recorded, and then mentors are going to receive it, and how we are going to give the feedback. What exactly have you noticed in the improvements as far as candidates who came in at that point of time with us and who scored brilliantly, because I know we have so many students who have scored beyond 105, 106, and you have scored 117. I don't know how you missed the 3 marks even.
Mother asks me the same question till date. And 117 was when I took my first attempt, and then unfortunately the scores expired before I could apply to school. And then I took my second attempt, and I had 114, and then my mother was even more angry with me. She's like, "Did I not feed you?" I was just telling you, so she's like, "Did I not feed you enough Ren and Martin for breakfast?" Because that's the standard textbook we've grown up reading for
That red
English
book, right?
grammar. Yes, the red book. I think one of the reasons growing up that my command over the languages was strong is because my mother has spent years and years and hours just like getting me to pick up 5 random words from the thesaurus and making sentences on it, using it in daily conversation. And so coming to the improvements that we had seen in candidates, like starting off with the improvements we had seen in candidates to begin with, right? I know I don't want to take names, but I categorically remember some of our students that came in with like this hesitation, sense of underconfidence, inability to speak, inability to like articulate thoughts
Yes.
In a way that had to be expressed in a certain format, in a certain way, so as to score slightly higher. And we've personally seen students go from that point to be so thorough that you could give them any topic and
That's
they would
true.
know exactly what to say, how to say, because we had devised that structure. We had devised that sort of logical framework as to how to break down a topic in a way that no matter what comes, topic can be anything under the sun,
Yeah.
but you know what to say because you have that framework, you have that logical sort of workflow on how to approach this and how to make sure you're never running out of points. I know for a fact that we incorporated a little bit of extempore training into this, so as to encourage people to, like, even if you forget what the topic is, even if you've lost thought, how to then in that 1 second pick up from the topic and start again and sort of streamline your thoughts in that direction. And so I know for a fact students have reached out to me that have seen changes not just in the way that they speak, but in their scores. And that has been extremely rewarding throughout. I still get messages from back then up until now. And so, and if I get it, and with my duration being as short as it was, I can't even imagine, the kind of gratitude that people express to you and AB sir and now Shaheen ma'am for changing their lives with TOEFL and, for helping them move forward in their careers, having tackled this exam successfully. So kudos to that.
Back then when we were, and even till date, AB sir has a very structured pattern in which he teaches.
Yeah.
Just like having, okay, let's just practice on introduction. And if this is the topic, this is how we are going to approach the introduction. If this is the topic, this is how the body has to be. And if candidates are making a mistake in a particular section, he'll just make them practice a lot upon it. And that's how I think the continuous refinement that has helped students reach the point where they're not just confident about the chain of thought that they have to present themselves for a particular topic, but also they are confidently expressing the same information that they otherwise were very hesitant in coming up for.
Exactly.
If I may add, Dr. T, to even give extra sessions to some of the students who required some basic basic information about grammar and other basic concepts about vocabulary and other things, including sessions for vocabulary building, that is normal Lewis, word power made easy. Even had certain sessions that as well.
Very true. I remember there were 2 candidates who were completely poles apart. They scored the same. However, the approach for mentoring them was entirely different. Because in here, when you're teaching English, we cannot really compare apples to oranges. You cannot put everyone in one basket, And that's why the strategies have to be personalized. And that's, I think, where AB sir, Dr. Shaheen, and you also, Pallak, created this pattern, created this structure around CaapidUp in such a terrific way that it is working phenomenally well.
In fact, the team meetings, the mentors also helped each other a lot to plan and curate each and every session, how it has to be delivered, and how a student, keeping an aspirant in mind as well, how to prepare him or her for the next challenge or the next level that he or she needs to overcome. Yes, Dr. Pallak, you were adding something.
I was just saying that I remember the extent to which we had gone. I remember Ms. Pharma and I like doing recorded conversations, and throwing that open to the students to then asking them questions. So like replicating the entire listening section in sessions, so that, and with different accents, with mine being, like a whole mixed Indian Canadian accent, and then with Mrs. Farmer being like a full British accent, like teaching people on how to pick up, that accent, that lingo, understanding, deciphering words. And then I remember having that list of words that, we commonly use back home, and how it is not, for example, I passed out from school is not like a grammatically correct version. I graduated from school. And I remember creating that, list of phrases and list of words that we commonly use back home versus how that's not really an acceptable way of communication out here, in the US. And like I like very clearly remember the extent to which, we've done those sessions, and the kind of depth we've gone into, to make candidates understand that it's not just about the exam, it's about fundamentally understanding the concept of the language, and about trying to incorporate that. Because the whole purpose of TOEFL for CAPID applications is not just trying to see English language proficiency. It's also how, when you are going to be a part of the cohort here, are you going to be able to talk to people? Are you going to be able to talk to patients? Are they going to be able to understand what you're saying? Are you going to be able to understand what they are saying? And so I guess like creating that sense of confidence, not just to take the exam, but to have that command over your spoken English, especially when you're, over here in the Western part of the globe where this language is sort of exclusively spoken in. And so even adding that sense of confidence, I think, has taken candidates, and they've seen the value, they've understood the value.
So, AB sir, I know that you have mentored so many students now on CaapidUp, and Pallak also has, taken so many students right from 80s, and we have taken them to the point where they are confidently getting 105, 106. What exactly have you noticed as far as the pattern goes when it comes to, because students have opted for multiple platforms. I know that they go on these free websites. What exactly is the core behind this mentorship that we offer at CaapidUp? What makes us different?
In fact, the very first point that I try to make it very clear to all of our aspirants is to break free of any particular kind of a format or a pattern or something. I call it into like something like falling into a trap of a particular format, because imagine a scenario in which all students or all aspirants, those who are looking for such kind of guidance or free available guidance or information over the internet or over a particular group or online, if they follow a similar trend or a similar pattern, the language automatically becomes more mechanic and redundant.
Yes.
And which is what we don't ideally expect a student to land himself or herself into. And giving them a set pattern wherein they have the ability, wherein they are able to come up with their own creative ideas and assimilate them in a proper structure, or assimilate those ideas into a proper way and manner which is presentable, which has some clarity, including good grammar and good vocabulary, all of these things, and put together with a proper and neat conclusion. I think that helped them score better, as opposed to the kind of format or ready-made sentence structures or sentence beginners that is what we used to use earlier.
So true. And I also think the kind of mentorship that we offer in a very personalized manner, because every student gives their own unique challenges to us, and for us to sit there with them, trying to understand what they are having issues with, and then fixing them one by one, is something that no other platform offers. Everything that you're getting online for free, they are literally giving you tests. And believe me, if they are just here to give tests, we have ample resources on CaapidUp available for free where they can test themselves. But the core behind it is that the feedback that you're getting from your mentors here, who are experienced, who are having the knowledge of how the ETS is grading them, is where they will feel the biggest help in. Pallak, what do you think about this?
Yeah, I definitely would like to add, it is the feedback, because, as you said, Dr. T, you can continue to do tests and you can do a gazillion tests, but there's absolutely no point, because you don't know what you're doing wrong. And when you don't know what you're doing wrong, your score is going to be the exact same no matter how many times you take that exam. And so understanding, I think that the amount of time we have spent, because I remember back when I used to be a part of CaapidUp, we would manually grade applications, right? We would sit and read so many essays. I remember reading like 20 to 25 essays in one night. And then I would always try to find patterns in the way that candidates have presented their written material, and then sort of try to point out to them. And I'm sure, like anyone that's reading this and has ever received, seeing this and has ever received feedback from me, is going to be able to attest to this fact that I've always tried to spot the patterns and sort of shown them or taught them how they can break out of this pattern, right? Coming to what AB sir said, everything is not mechanical. Some things need to be thought through and altered as per topic, altered as per emotion of the topic. And so, being able to spot those patterns of errors that are constantly happening and that are taking candidates down, I think that is a big one up. There are multiple platforms that are available, but they are not being able to spot. They will spot mistakes. They will not be able to spot that this is a pattern in this candidate. They will not know that, this essay that she wrote 5 days ago versus this essay that she's written today, what is the graph of improvement? Has this candidate now been successfully able to break through, the constant errors that they were making, whether that's, writing present tense in past tense, talking about a current topic in past tense, or talking about a current topic in future tense, mixing up the prepositions, mixing up verbs. That is not something that other platforms have been able to offer. And I think that is a very, very big advantage when it comes to CaapidUp, because we're living in a time where data is everything. And if you don't measure the data, you're not really going anywhere. And the good part about CaapidUp is we're measuring that data. We're measuring that, sort of graph of errors. We're seeing it go up and we're seeing it go down. And we're also seeing what corrections or what sort of addendums have created that difference in making those errors go away. So troubleshooting is a very, very big aspect of our mentorship journey with candidates. And I don't think that troubleshooting is available in other platforms. And that's one of the major reasons why I feel that, CaapidUp has a one-up over other platforms.
I remember that there was one candidate, and AB sir was second, and I think Pallak, you were also involved at that point of time. This candidate would, come for our speaking sessions, and we were gauging her, and we were like, something is, completely off. And whenever her written submissions would come through, we were amazed. We were like, wow, what a brilliant kind of a language proficiency this person is having. And then when we were trying to figure out these mistakes, because for some reason, the written English, the written component of it was immaculate, like no mistake at all. But whenever it used to be coming to the classes and we would give her a topic to speak, and it would not even go past introduction. And then we actually contacted the student and we were like, hey, there is a big disparity on what you're presenting in the classes and what is happening on the paper. So what exactly is going on? And at that point of time, she mentioned that she takes more time in writing things down. That's why there is brilliance that is getting reflected in there. But when we navigated it further, we were able to conclude the fact that she was using AI while submitting the written responses. Now, the candidates feel very happy about these scores that they would otherwise get 5 out of 5, but they don't understand that how exactly they're backstabbing themselves.
Yeah, it's like the story of the caterpillar, someone is trying to, like someone's observing a caterpillar turn into a butterfly, and they're trying to, they're seeing the butterfly struggle to break its cocoon. They're like, oh, let me just break it, not realizing that the strength in the wings comes from actually breaking through the cocoon. And so you can use AI all you want to present yourself in a fashion on, these testing platforms. But on the day of the TOEFL exam, you're not going to have that opportunity and ability. And so what is going to happen on that day? If your command over the language, or if your understanding of the language, and if you don't have strategies on how to tackle topics firsthand at that point, if you don't have that strategy on the day of the exam, there's going to be no change. And then so all the money that you've spent in training and coaching and retaking this exam again it's a waste. So that's on the candidates and their sort of sense of, there's no point feeling that sense of accomplishment and pride on a practicing platform when on the day of the actual exam you're not able to perform, and then you're going to turn around and point fingers at the practicing platform, and because you've not given yourself the ability to fail and then sort of work from that failure upwards.
Very true, very true. Thank you so much, Pallak, for coming on the platform once again and sharing your insights with students so that they can actually see the difference that CaapidUp can bring in their preparations.
Of course, happy to be here, happy to help, happy to see everyone again.